Do you remember New Order?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I say remember, they're still on the go. Very successful.
How does it feel to treat me like you do? It's a bit maudlin for a choir, isn't it?
Oh, I loved them, me. Yeah, they recorded loads of great tunes. And they used to play a lot at the Hacienda. Well, all the great bands did back then, including a duo called the Ambience and the Aura.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Hello and welcome to episode 374 of The Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch-up podcast that is growing increasingly concerned about Corrie's wardrobe budget. I'm Gavin.
And I'm telling you now, it's the road or the sidewalk. It is not the floor.
Do you know, I think this is maybe the second or third time you've complained about this, and
It's not a floor.
I don't get your outrage about it.
It's not a floor. Don't say
Is it
floor.
a ceiling?
It's not a floor. It is the sidewalk, although I know that you guys don't call it a sidewalk. What do you call it again?
I'm not telling you. If you can't be bothered paying attention, I'm not telling you.
I forget things sometimes.
It's the ground.
You
That's what it is.
you
It's the
don't-
ground.
You don't call sidewalks ground.
No.
No. But it's not a floor. It's
It's the
outside.
ground.
It's outside.
It's the ground.
Right. Or the sidewalk or the road.
Or the
because-
ground, which covers
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Literally.
But not a floor. It's not the floor. Floors are inside your house, not outside your house.
It's the floor of the earth.
It's not the floor of the earth.
Well, what is the floor of the earth then?
The earth doesn't have a floor. It's natural. It's not made out of man-made materials like floors are.
I don't think a floor needs. This is. I see what you're doing here with your little trick to drag me into another pointless argument about
Pavement.
linguistic differences.
Pavement. That's what you call the sidewalk.
There you go.
It's the Pavement. One of my favorite bands. How are you?
What about a cave floor?
That's still not really a floor, is it?
It's called a cave floor, though.
Right.
Or the sea floor.
Yes. Those are underground or under the sea. They're not outside. They're inside a cave or inside the ocean.
I'm fine. It's the ground. I would call it the ground, but it
Yes.
doesn't annoy me as much as it annoys you.
It annoys the hell out of me.
I think we've all spotted that.
Maybe because, I hate Carl, but also
Right.
it's annoying.
Is it just him that does it?
I think it's just him who does it.
It's doing it just to annoy you.
He's done it like 2
And
weeks
it's
in a
working.
row, too.
And you're playing right into his hands.
Look, the world is on fire. I'm going to at least just
I don't think you're
complain
allowed
about
to say that, Helen.
I didn't say I was on fire because a
I
certain
don't,
person was shot in the neck.
I don't. This conversation is going in a very, very worrying way. We're going to get cancelled at this rate.
Yes, we are going to cancel ourselves on our own network.
Oh, if only. Sweet, sweet nothing. Anyway, how are you?
I'm all right. I have had some unfortunate troubles at work, and because of which we are now down a person, and yet we still had to finish an auction by the end of the day today. So I've been a bit stressed, but
Probably shouldn't have pressed that auction talk. Felt like that was maybe lightening something that shouldn't be lightened.
yeah, maybe not, but that's okay. And but also, I left work early the other day for a doctor's appointment, which isn't until next week.
That's super early.
Right, and
Would you mind if I left like a week early to go to this doctor's appointment?
And I did notice earlier today that I had written that I needed to leave early. on the correct day on our calendar at work. So I don't know what I was thinking on Wednesday. But because of it, I got to see J.D. Vance's motorcade go down the highway.
Lucky you.
Lucky me. Actually, I didn't see like his car, but I saw like 1,000 police cars in the front and back of them, and the police keeping people off of the highway and guarding the exits and the entrances and stuff, and felt a wee bit overblown. Anyway, how are you?
I think I've covered that.
You said you're fine.
Yeah.
Is that enough?
I think that's all that I feel like I want to share.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Here we are recording this, and I thought we wouldn't be recording this
Right.
as we are. There was a Thanksgiving thing, not a Thanksgiving thing,
Homecoming.
a homecoming thing, which I still don't quite fully understand.
It's when the football team comes home.
But they've already been home.
Right. They were home, and then they were away, and now they're home again, and now all of their games will be at home, I think.
No.
No?
They've got
Oh, well,
half their games are away.
then I have no idea. My high school didn't have a football team. We didn't have homecoming.
So
We may
as I
as
was
well
saying,
been
I don't
British.
fully understand homecoming. And this is our last year where this is going to affect us.
Yes.
And so therefore I'm never going to understand homecoming.
Right.
And that's fine.
And it's weird and sad and scary, but not as scary as the line to get into the homecoming game, which when we saw, we said, nope, and came back home. We watched the parade. That's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're here, so we might as well record a podcast.
Let's do that.
Mightn't we?
Yes, let's do that.
Let's do that. Shall we preamble, my dear, then?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that sports ball. Corrie News.
I forgot to talk about my new tattoos. Oh, well. Sally Divener and her son have climbed Mount Kilimanjaro to raise money and support for breast cancer research. Kudos to them.
Kudos to them.
Mount Kilimanjaro.
I think you can walk up it, can't you? I don't think you necessarily have to climb it.
It's still impressive.
I think
'cause
it's impressive.
a big mountain.
I think it's impressive. It's the tallest mountain in Africa.
Is it?
Yeah. And it looks down majestically over the Serengeti,
Yes.
according to Toto.
Yes. Right. And also there is snow in Africa. It's on the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. Claire Sweeney has opened up about the death of her ex, Ricky Hatton, the boxer, who was found dead at the age of 46 in his home. I guess this happened like last week where he hadn't shown up to the gym and a friend went to his house and he was lying dead on the ground. He was only 46.
Super sad I don't suppose you have any idea who Ricky Hatton was. He was definitely a boxer of my age. I remember his fights being on TV and him being ridiculously powerful and an incredible sportsman and an incredible athlete and a bit of a personality as well outside of the ring. So it's really sad.
Yeah, they were on Dancing on Ice together. You know, but they had been friends for like 25 years before that. And then they decided to date for a little while. And about 6 months later, they were like, you know what? We're better as friends. It was an amicable break, but so they were still friends. And she says she is just absolutely devastated by it. And all the sympathy to his family from her. And I just can't imagine. That just seems so very young. So.
Yes, that's really sad news.
Absolutely. And finally, Sally Carmen and Joe Deteen have shared pictures from their holidays in the Santorini sun, getting some well-deserved time away from the cobbles.
Quite a lot of the cobble stars are off sunning themselves at the moment. I've seen quite a bit of it on the Instagram over the last few days.
Yeah, well, they deserve a break.
Yeah, sure they do, but it kind of leaves nobody left on the show to be recording episodes. But
Maybe we'll see some people on we haven't seen in like months.
well, it's like
They're
they're recording Christmas at the moment.
Right. And I think they're going to be recording soon the crossover episodes with
Ugh.
Emmerdale. Is that Emmerdale or EastEnders?
It's Emmerdale.
Okay. And that's Corrie News. I get them mixed up all the time. They both start with the letter E. And I don't watch either one of them.
It's great work.
Thank you.
We'll now move on to our feedback section that I like to call Everyone's a Critic. My bag is fit to burst this week.
What?
We'll start off with Bever68, who writes, the Becky being back from the dead definitely wasn't the original plan. It felt like at first it was a genuine telling of the impact of grief, which was quite moving at times, particularly in Soapland, where there are so many deaths that the grief part gets ignored. To then swap it out for sensationalist storytelling feels cheap and tacky, particularly when it involves a child losing their parent. Saying all that, the Friday episode was excellent. This is from last week. Vicky is a powerhouse. Ali was understated in her performance, whilst clearly seeing her pain, and I bloody hated how selfish Becky was, so kudos to the actress for that. Becky is definitely lying. A good idea that she was always part of the gang, but for 20 years whilst with Swain, it's almost like they don't think these things through. As I said, I enjoyed the episode, and the tension for Swarla is clear to see. Overall, though, I think it's the satisfaction you get from eating a really dirty burger when you feel just a bit grubby afterwards. Thinking, was that worth it? Yes, it was definitely a KFC moment. I haven't had KFC in a while. So therefore, I haven't had KFC regret in a while.
Correct.
Then Ian Les Paul writes...
And his wife.
I haven't heard from Ian Les Paul in a while.
I know.
Hi, you two. As a studious listener to your unique podcast, I don't miss much. Oh no, you say. Lately, I have noticed that every time Gav mentions Junior Pop, i.e. young Master Dorin, he waxes lyrical. A misty tear comes into his voice, and I have to agree that he is a brawy actor. But can you not see, Gav, that you are/were Dorin? All those years ago, back in Scotland, I bet you looked just like that, you cheeky wee imp. You subconsciously recognise that. In your eyes, Dorin is the child Gav. Just an observation. Don't thank me. It's what I do. Keep on coming.
You know, he does look a wee bit like you when you were little.
Well, since Ian Les Paul posted that, I posted online and also to
Is it
to Ian.
is this the picture where you're in like a red cardigan in the...
No, it's not a
Oh
picture.
no, this one.
The hair's quite similar.
Yeah, I think you look more similar in the picture of you as a wee boy that's in the stairwell.
Maybe that is why
So I think part of his precociousness is because he has big sisters who dote over him constantly. Whereas-
before he was even introduced to Hope and Ruby, we loved the Dorin.
Right, yes. But I'm sure that his parents don't bring a basin of bathwater into the living room so that you don't miss your shows while you bathe yourself and brush your teeth.
I didn't bathe myself. Somebody bathed me for me.
You see,
Typically my gran.
you see
or
where
my
that's
mum.
you see where that's worth, right?
Yeah. This is from our classics episode, so most of the people listening to this will have no idea what we're talking about.
Was it classics? I thought it was something that was brought up during List of Lists.
No, it was the classics.
Oh, yes.
So if ever you needed a reason to sign up to be a friend of the podcast to listen to a classic episode and find out what the fuck Helen's talking about. Apparently I was a little spoiled as an infant.
You were a little madam when you were a child.
As I remember,
Little Lord Fauntleroy over here.
I did have a little bell. But I rang it and nobody came. And that made me very sad. Thank you, Ian Les Paul, for picking at that scar. Then Wendy writes, how come when I saw a shot of Carla with a glass of wine, I thought she was at the bistro? I thought the same thing. But she was at home. But the bistro kind of has that sort of dark bistro-esque sort of feel to it now. I haven't got used to Yasmin's house looking like that. Then Zoe writes, I'm well behind on Corrie, so I've just been watching the episode focusing on Asha's paramedic job, and all I can think is, why have they got her wearing a claw clip in the ambulance? Surely the writers have done their research and know that no paramedic would ever do that. That was a good point as well. Whenever you see paramedics, they've either got their hair tied up,
Yes. Right. Or they're wearing a hat.
yeah, but not a big bit of plastic
Yeah.
clamped into their head.
Yes.
We can start protesting that.
Yes.
Josephine writes, what do you reckon happens before we die? Do you reckon your life does flash before your eyes? But is it really your life? Because I reckon there's no such thing as a past or a future. There's only now. And time doesn't really exist the way we think it does. I mean, I'm no expert. Okay, so this is deep. But has Kirk been reading McTaggart's Unreality of Time? No matter how awful Corrie gets, I'll keep hanging on for these beautiful nuggets from Kirk. Kirk's nuggets.
I think this is just another sure sign of his deep-seated depression.
Yeah. I would like them, though, to have Kirk come out with more of these deeply philosophical
Yes.
sentences and
Absolutely.
then also be confused that it's not Johnny Groats.
Yeah.
I think the juxtaposition of that
Yes.
would be amusing.
Yes. They really need to lean hard into the whole idiot savant thing.
Tara writes, Dorin absolutely stole the show this week. That little boy could not be any cuter. Less dead but not really dead spouses and more Coronation Street, please.
Yes.
Couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
And then Cheeky writes, this week really tested my patience. On Monday, I couldn't stand how Theo is worming his way into Todd's life, cutting George out like some controlling parasite. It's not even subtle, it's suffocating. By Wednesday, at least we got something worth watching. The Lisa, Betsy, Becky triangle was electric. The reveal of Becky being alive hit me hard, raw, emotional, and so well acted. That's the kind of Corrie I want more of. Friday turned it up again. Theo watching Todd hug Billy and then twisting it into another excuse for abuse made my blood boil. It's vile, and I hate every second of Theo's control, but I can't look away. Corrie can do brilliance. Wednesday portrayed it. But as long as it's wasting oxygen on Theo's abuse cycle and Carl's reheated villain routine, I'm left grinding my teeth instead of enjoying the show. And thank you very much for that, Cheeky. And thanks to Tara, to Josephine, to Zoe, Wendy, Ian Les Paul, and to Bevers68 for your correspondence this week.
And his wife.
Bevers68?
Sure. But also Ian Les Paul. And his guitar.
Feedback is always welcome. Send us your thoughts and I'll probably read them out. Get us at thetalkofthestreet@gmail.com, or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. And we love it when people write actual letters to us. Send us your proper mail to the Talk of the Street, P.O. Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interest of brevity. And we finally got our cork board up.
Yay!
Only got the 2 postcards up at the moment. I need more pins.
There are more pins on the living room.
There's not an awful lot of them, though.
Yeah, but use them up while we have them.
Make hay while the sun shines.
Correct.
And now we'll podcast for coffee.
What?
Friend of the podcast.
Welcome to Rachel B., our new friend of the podcast.
Hello, Rachel.
Thank you very much for signing up to be a friend of the podcast, Rachel. We appreciate it a lot. I hope you enjoy the bonus content,
Yes.
of which there's quite a bit now.
Yes,
It's building.
it is.
And Rachel B. also bought us our coffees this week, so we
Oh,
were
nice.
twice blessed from Rachel. Thank
Yes,
you
thank you very much.
very much indeed. We also had someone else move from Ko-Fi to Patreon, and as I explained last week, that really is the way to go if you want the bonus content to appear in your podcast provider through the RSS feed.
Yes.
So if you want to do that, you're more than welcome. And at the moment,
Yes.
we only have one member on the YouTube channel. So if you watch us on YouTube and listen to us on YouTube, maybe think about joining on YouTube.
Yeah.
The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on the YouTubes.
Maybe we'll actually do video one of these days.
No chance. But if you think our show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, and if you want to show your appreciation or you want more weekly and monthly content, here's your options. Sign up to be a friend of the podcast for as little as $2 a month. You can sign up at patreon.com/Talk of the Street, where you can get episodes delivered to your podcast player. Ko-Fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/The Talk of the Street, or hit the join button on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Talk of the Street podcast. Friends of the podcast get access to our weekly spoiler show, the Talk of the Street Spoiler Alert, and our monthly classics Corrie show, the Talk of the Street Classics. And if that wasn't enough, you also get a shout out at the end of each and every episode and your name on the credits of the flagship. If you prefer something a little less formal, you can also buy us next week's coffee by going to ko-fi.com/the Talk of the Street, and all our links can be found at linktree/Corrie Podcast. But remember, you can always support the podcast for free and get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts. Shall we dive in, my dear?
Yes, please.
Our first storyline this week is The Lonely Grave of Theo Wardley.
Ooh.
Skeletons. Nothing worse than a spooky skeleton, am I right?
I love spooky skeletons.
On Monday, Costello is on the phone to someone reading them the Riot Act, worried about getting caught, telling them to keep their head down. Who do you think he was talking to?
Well, it was obviously Becky, because he also mentions Curtis.
Yeah, I thought it was Becky as well. When he's interrupted by Kit, and he quickly hangs up. Back home, Swain is in a waking nightmare and determined to have this out with Costello despite Carla's advice. Swain also has no plans to tell Betsy anything until she gets to the truth, which surprises Carla because that means that Swain thinks Becky is lying. Or lying about something.
Yes, and she probably is.
I think she undoubtedly is.
Yeah.
At the station, Kit and Swain have a distracted conversation, but when Costello comes in, Swain asks for a bit of privacy. Costello knows what she wants and knocks her back, telling her, not now, and not here.
And not like that.
No, definitely not like that. And he looks worriedly over her shoulder to see who's listening. Kit goes to see Carla to ask, what's up with Swain? So after a fashion, Carla fills him in.
But not like that.
On the developments with Becky not really being dead after all, and Costello going along with it. Kit doesn't understand why Becky would come back now, so Carla tells him about Curtis being dead, which means everyone's safe. Kit can't believe this, and wonders exactly what more Costello would be capable of. Back at the station, Swain's getting a bit bored of waiting for answers from Costello, and when he continues to stall, she threatens to blow the whistle and go to the Weather Gazette. So Costello sticks with Becky's line and says if they hadn't have faked her death, Swain and Betsy would be dead by now. He covered because he had her back. It's that simple, and he's been haunted ever since. And he says grief is grief, and maybe he deserves some credit here.
And that just sounds like total bullshit, because if that's true, they would be dead anyway, because Becky dying doesn't protect them. Putting them in witness protection as well would have protected them.
I did wonder if Becky was dead, would they bother still going after Swain and Betsy? Because who are they punishing? They're punishing somebody who's already dead. But
yeah, but considering that Swain is also a police officer and a detective, you'd assume that the gang would assume that Swain knows something.
I would think
And
exactly the same.
Swain could, point the finger at them, so to speak, at some point. The fact that they've never even remotely threatened her or Betsy seems weird.
It's almost as though this gang wasn't really a thing. Although we know that it was because they celebrated the main guy getting bumped off.
Right.
But I don't know, something about that whole thing just doesn't make any sense. Or did I say something about that? Everything about that doesn't make any sense.
Correct.
So Costello says it's not a mystery, it's a tragedy, but he refuses to spend any more time talking about Theo Wardley. Becky leaving was an act of love, he says. And that's all he has to say on the matter. And surprisingly, Swain's quite happy to go along with that.
Yeah. I would not be happy to go along with that.
He really told her nothing.
Right. Yeah. And the way he just kind of brushes off the whole Theo Wardley aspect of it is terrible, because even you can't legally incinerate someone and pass them off as someone else. You can't do that. What about Theo Wardley's family?
Well,
I'm
here's what I
assuming
think.
that she has a family somewhere.
I think, and this is just me speaking here, I think Tia Wardley was Becky's cover, was the name that she used in the gang. And it's somebody else that is
Somebody's ashes.
somebody else that's in the coffin.
Somebody's ashes are in there.
Yeah, I don't think that their name was Tia Wardley though. I think Becky's Tia Wardley. 'Cause that's a nice kind of clean explanation to that.
Yeah.
And it's just a random homeless person that's dead,
Right. Which
which is still
is
deplorable.
still horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. Swain gets home now thinking that Becky might be telling the truth. And I'm like, how? She's convinced that something's not right and she's gone to Costello for confirmation of that.
Who she knows has lied to her.
Exactly. So she
for
doesn't
years.
trust Costello.
No.
But
But all of a sudden she's like, oh, well, okay, fine.
maybe Becky's telling the truth after all.
Ugh.
Becky, and this is something that Becky's going to do quite a lot this week, just wanders into their house.
Yeah.
Not
Like she
knowing-
owns the place.
Not knowing if Betsy's going to be there or not.
Right. She doesn't care.
She needs to talk. She's looking for forgiveness and says it was an act of love, and that is what Costello said.
Yeah.
So that got my little spidey senses
That
tingling.
seems very suspicious, doesn't it?
She says they need to get their story straight, so Carla decides this is the time to tell them that she told Kit everything. Becky tries to give Carla a hard time about this, but Swain says all of this is on Becky. So Becky leaves her number and leaves to the front door where Betsy might be walking by.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
After she's gone, Carla is beginning to see things from Becky's side, but thinks the most important thing now is to tell Betsy. Swain, though, refuses to budge and asks Carla to drop it.
I'm with Swain on this.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Interesting. How come?
Because I mean, I feel like she needs to tell Betsy at some point,
Sure.
obviously.
Yep.
But I can understand Betsy's 18 now. But her prefrontal cortex is still not completely fused together yet. So she's still in many ways an adolescent who does not have the maturity to really handle this. I mean, Swain has barely handled this. So I understand her wanting to protect Betsy from a situation like this because it's going to be traumatizing. It's going to traumatize Betsy all over again. It has traumatized Lisa all over again.
I even think that Ryan's a little bit traumatized by it. Not yet, though.
Not yet. He will be.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I can understand her wanting to make sure she has all the answers. She knows exactly where everybody is at before she tells her. Because what if she tells her and Becky shows up and Becky's there, but then Becky leaves again? That's just going to traumatize her all over again. So I think I understand her caution.
Yeah, it comes with quite a bit of risk, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we know Swain is very controlling when it comes to Betsy anyway.
And we know that Betsy pushes against that wherever she can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I understand your point. I think she was, from her point of self-preservation, maybe it made more sense to tell her. Because the longer she keeps it a secret, the more it's going to give Betsy ammunition against her. And I'm surprised that that doesn't really transpire as we get into Wednesday. So in the wee hours, Swain has been up all night, staring into space, wondering why Becky only has one set of clothes. Carla gets up to check on her, but Swain is inconsolable and sends her back to bed. Later, Carla makes another play to get Swain to tell Betsy about Becky, but Swain has no intention of doing so, and once again tells Carla to drop it. She's made a decision, for fuck's sake. But while Swain's out, Carla decides to call Becky and tells her to come over, so Swain is ambushed when she gets home, and Carla goes as far as to lock the front and back doors, making them thrash it out. It does not go according to plan, though, because
No.
Becky is still wearing the same clothes she had on last Monday. Becky this time has had enough of Swain's shite and demands to see Betsy. She's going on the front foot here. Swain tells her to suck on her balls. She's my daughter too, says Becky. Swain is unmoved. The Becky show is over, says Swain. And Swain is super pissed off and goes upstairs, not appreciating the ambush. So Becky leaves, and she goes to the precinct to spy on Betsy, who's playing on the swings because she's 18 now. When a hooded Ryan runs to speak to Betsy, super undercover detective Becky swoops into action in a dreadful attempt to rescue her daughter from the lovely Ryan.
Right, yes, because for the first time ever, Ryan is wearing a hoodie with the hood up in the middle of the day on a bright sunny day with no rain, no clouds, no wind, and yet he has his hood up.
And he didn't need to because, well, for this horribly plot convenient thing to happen, he doesn't need to have his hood up because he's still a man running at Betsy, who Becky doesn't know.
Doesn't Ryan know about her already?
Ryan knows about her, but she doesn't know about Ryan.
I thought she did.
No, she doesn't.
Wasn't Ryan there when she showed up?
No.
Then how does Ryan know again?
From the photo that everybody knows her from.
Right,
He
yeah.
knows her for the same reason that Roy knows her.
I thought for sure that Ryan walked in or something at some point.
No.
Because Ryan is not surprised to see her.
No, this is the first time he's seen her.
Yeah, it's still ridiculous that Ryan has his hood up in the middle of the day on a sunshiny, bright, beautiful day.
Even Ryan recognises that this is Becky, while Betsy shits her pants. It's me, Becky says. She tries to touch Betsy, but Ryan intervenes, suggesting that Betsy maybe needs some space to deal with all this. So Becky leaves and promises to come back. Ryan and Betsy talk about whether that really was Becky or if they're going crazy. Betsy goes through the same emotions as Swain did, confused about the funeral and the coffin, and she doesn't know how she should be thinking and doesn't have a clue how she's going to tell Swain. So Ryan takes her home, where she dramatically announces that she saw Becky, and when neither Swain nor Carla react, she quickly susses out that, you two already knew.
Yeah.
Swain says that she's only known for a couple of days, and she didn't tell her to protect her. And then, once again, the bold Becky just wanders into the house to speak to Betsy. Swain screams at her to leave, and Betsy looks terrified, thinks that they're all liars, and runs up the stairs. And I wondered how telling Betsy's reaction was here, because the way that she reacted to them shouting at each other kind of gave me the impression that shouting at each other was maybe something that wasn't all that new, and maybe that the relationship was a little bit more tempestuous than Swain has let Carla
Interesting.
believe. Because she had that same sort of reaction that Shanice had when Tim and Sally were arguing.
Uh-huh.
That this is something that they've grown up with.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it kind of seems... Poor Betsy is still kind of in shock here.
Oh, hugely.
You know, again, the whole conversation we had, that she doesn't really have the emotional maturity to really handle this, because the adults in her life haven't really been able to handle it and wrap their head around it.
Yeah, but this is a more instinctive reaction, I felt. Becky says that she was worried for Betsy because she thinks Betsy was a target for the hit and run, and worries that their lives are in danger again. And this seems very convenient for Becky to suggest.
Absolutely. This is a very lame excuse, considering that the whole reason supposedly that she's back is because the gang isn't after her anymore because the head guy is dead. Mm-hmm. It's like, if you still think that the gang could possibly... It felt like she was just covering her tracks here.
Covering her tracks and making the most of a bad situation to work in her favour.
Correct.
Fuck this, says Carla, and goes to throw Becky out for the second time, but it's all called off when she gets a tearful hug from Betsy, who runs down the stairs. Becky gives her the same pish about faking her death for Betsy's safety. And Betsy doesn't have any questions about any of this. Swain agrees that Becky can stay for a bit, but Betsy cannot tell anyone that Becky is here. Swain tells Kit about this, and he apparently agrees to look into the hit and run on the down low. Don't you just hate it when your girlfriend's ex comes back from the grave, says Ryan. Betsy falls asleep on the couch somehow. She falls asleep
Again!
at the drop of a hat.
Again, because this happened last week when it was Carla who was holding her hand as she slept. So this seems to be a thing that they have poor Betsy do
Narcolepsy.
to so that the women around her can exhibit maternity, I guess.
Yeah.
Mother
Would
love.
you fall asleep just like that?
In the middle of the day in front of other
adrenaline
people?
is through the roof.
I suppose.
I don't know. It's just weird that she just keeps on falling asleep with her enormous headphones round her neck.
Right. Yeah, that can't be comfortable.
Swain tries to throw Becky out again. Becky reveals that she's staying at the hotel for a bit, despite the danger that this supposedly puts everybody in. So on Friday, Becky decides to knock this time, claiming to be here to see Betsy.
And it's like, what did we just talk about yesterday about the fact that you may still be a threat to us?
Don't let her in.
Yeah, don't answer the door.
Just don't let her in.
Lock the doors.
Betsy, though, doesn't think this is a great idea because she's too overwhelmed by it all still, so she doesn't really want to see Becky.
Yeah, good for her.
Becky refuses just to disappear again. And then Roy comes in with Freddie looking for a dog sitter. And now Roy fucking knows. Jesus Christ. His knickers are in a knot about being kept in the dark about this. So now we have to go through the whole bullshit gang shite story. But as she's going through it, Becky says it was a plan to keep her safe and it worked. And Carla's like, Suddenly this is a plan that was just to keep her safe, according to what Becky said. It was a slight slip of the tongue, but it cut to Carla, who definitely reacted like it was a,
Yeah.
because that wasn't what you've been saying consistently up to now.
No.
Carla wants Roy to keep Stum, but he can't promise that, and is super pissed that Carla made him think that he needed new glasses, because he's already got new glasses and they're fine.
Right, yes. Or that he was seeing things.
But you know what was maybe needed to be said there? Roy, this ain't none of your business. It's not. It's none of his business.
He's family.
Not Swain's family.
No. Still, if Swain's Carla's family and Roy's Carla's family, it's all family.
If I'm Carla, I'm saying, you know what, Roy, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I absolutely should have told you
The truth.
the truth.
And I'm sorry.
The problem is, it's none of your business. Later, Swain goes to Nina Rolls to make peace with Roy and to ask him not to take this out on Carla when it was all for Swain's protection. Roy, though, isn't buying it. But as they're discussing it, Evelyn shows up wanting to know what they're talking about. Swain covers by telling them that it's her sister that's visiting. Roy looks uncomfortable as he plays along. Back home, Carla can't believe Swain made Roy lie. That's the worst thing you could have done. Becky says this is all her fault, and everyone agrees. She says she only did this for Betsy, and Swain and Carla are now getting pretty sick of hearing this, and Swain wonders if there's something else that she's not telling them, and she has some questions about her new identity. She looks like she's going to reply, but in the end, Becky just leaves. And that's as far as we get with that this week. So what are you thinking about this whole Becky return thing? Is it working for you?
No. It's so dumb. Especially this whole Costello angle and everything. And all of the things that we've said already about how this isn't how witness protection works. And you used a dead body for something that you shouldn't be using a dead body for. Are all of the cops bent in Weatherfield? Is this just like a top-down situation? And why?
Yeah, who else is in on this?
Yeah, because it can't possibly just be Becky and Costello. Although, considering it's just Becky and Costello, that's the only way I can see that this has been kept a secret for this long. Because you know how gossipy cops are.
Well, if it's Becky and Costello, then the thing that we can be sure about that is that the official line is absolutely bullshit.
Yeah.
That maybe those two are the only people that were part of this because it was a complete lie and
Right.
none of this is true.
Because you would think that there would be some sort of documentation somewhere.
Yeah, there's a paper trail and a number of people that you have to keep or pay off to keep quiet. a conspiracy like this, which is pretty serious. You know, you've got a dead body somehow that you're passing off as somebody else. You're stealing a dead body.
You're stealing a dead body and cremating a dead body without the family's consent and passing it off as someone else.
I'm disappointed, though, that the Costello input into this was just on Monday, and that was it.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Yeah, and also, I mean, if we have learned anything from movies about police work and going undercover, if we've learned anything from The Departed, it's that there's always a bent cop somewhere who's playing the other side, who would have fingered Becky well before.
But not like that.
But not like that. And would probably have a Bostonian accent and be played by Mark Wahlberg.
It's Becky's insistence that she's only here for Betsy that makes me wonder.
Right, yeah.
It makes me wonder, what could it possibly be that Becky wants to get out of Betsy?
Now that she's 18.
And the thing that I come back to is, remember when Carla needed a kidney and Betsy's inheritance or trust was used to pay off the private health care that Carla needed.
Right.
Now, Becky doesn't know about this.
No.
And remember at the time we thought, is this a bit weird about Carla with the kidney thing? And it all felt very quickly dropped at the start of the year.
Yeah.
And all the shenanigans that went round about that all felt fairly manufactured.
Right, yes, because why would we have a Carla kidney story again when we've already had a Carla kidney story?
Mm-hmm. So it feels to me that this is why
that she's
Becky's
come back to
when
get
she's
money
18, is to get the money that's in Betsy's trust.
Right.
But there isn't any money anymore because it's all now residing within Carla.
Right, but isn't Carla paying the money back slowly?
Paying it back slowly.
Right.
It's not even been a year.
No, it's true.
So it's a depleted fund, let's say, at the very least.
Yeah. Interesting. I hadn't thought of that. That Becky may be back for money.
They made a... Do you know, the show keeps on saying things that it wants you to notice, we've realised.
Yes.
Somebody's keeping count of the number of times Becky's name's been mentioned, and it's something like 190 times.
Right.
So you keep on saying Candyman. Candyman's eventually going to appear.
Right.
So they've mentioned Becky coming back a few times for the 18th birthday. And that makes it important.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just because
right, yeah.
It's not just because this Curtis guy got killed.
Right, yes, because that happened
a couple of weeks previously.
Yeah. It did. She didn't come back right away. It was specifically for Betsy's 18th. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, I came back from the dead just to wish you a happy 18th birthday.
Right. Cheerio.
No.
Yeah. So I think that's got something to do with it. I also have to wonder, and I make a joke about it, but I think it's a serious point. Becky's clothes do not look like someone who now lives in Spain. She's got this big, long...
It's true.
It's not exactly a trench coat, but it's it's a longish 3/4 length coat that I can't imagine has ever been on her back in Spain.
No.
I don't expect her to come in with a Hawaiian shirt on and capris.
No.
Flip-flops.
No.
Don't get me wrong. But she doesn't look like she's been in Spain for 4 years.
No.
Does she even have a tan?
She doesn't even have a tan.
If you're there for 4 years, I don't think you can help but get a tan. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if she hasn't even been in Spain.
No. I don't think she's ever been in Spain.
I'm kind of intrigued by it. It is stupid.
It's so stupid.
We knew it was coming.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I complain an awful lot that we don't get, like, traditional soap storylines anymore. And this is definitely a traditional soap storyline. The spouse back from the dead.
I don't know that it's a traditional British soap storyline.
No. Yes, because, we keep talking about...
Aliens and stuff.
Oh, no, I was going to say, with reference to this, we talk about Dallas
Yes.
and Bobby Ewing, just, in the shower. Saying, hiya.
Oh, hiya.
I wish they had done that. I wish,
Becky had just gone into the shower.
I wish Swain and Carla had come home and heard the shower upstairs and said, who's in the shower? And they go up the stairs and they open the door and Becky's just like, oh, hi.
Hi, Elise.
I was dirty and now I'm clean.
Thruple. I love that Carla is now... seems to have had enough of Becky.
Yes.
Swain definitely seems to have had enough of Becky.
Yes.
The thing that isn't working for me quite so well is I'm still supposed to believe that Swain's a cop. And she's just the worst at and she said this a couple of weeks now, that she just can detect nothing. And Becky, supposedly super undercover, blows her own cover at the first chance at asking.
Right. Yeah. And had her cover blown in the gang, supposedly. Yeah.
Just, if you're going to keep on doing cop storylines, the cops need to be at least half decent.
Right. Yes.
These are bumbling police officers.
And it's a shame because Swain was a good police person when we were first introduced to her.
Until she got the regular gig.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because let's not forget how easily swayed she and Kit were by the fake Tia Wardley. Let's not forget that neither one of them doubted her story at all. Neither one of them...
You got a driver's license there, Tia? Can we see your driver's license real quick?
Neither one of them asked for confirmation. Neither one of them asked for ID. It's like, really? Really? You're not going to ask for any sort of confirmation from this woman?
No, we're going to take her for her word. Why not? That's what cops do, right?
And I think that is part of it, is that Swain is really upset about Costello lying, and also Costello making her look like a fool. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I find it interesting that Kit is still in the mix of this as well.
Kit seems to be there for Swain's support, which is interesting.
Yes.
And as Swain says, he'll probably use this against me sooner or later.
Yeah, somehow.
And he probably will.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to Tyrone's legs.
My legs!
My leg! On Monday, Fizz and Cassie are sitting at Tyrone's bedside. It's not looking good. Tyrone has got the thinnest pillow I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, they don't want him too elevated. They need him in like a flat line. It's funny that they don't have, because, they have those like shaped pillows that keep your neck steady. He should be in one of those. He should have a neck brace on, considering that he has problems with his spine now.
He's still out for the count, and Fizz wants to be there when he wakes up. In Nina's roles, Evelyn is determined to find out who's responsible for nearly killing Tyrone, but finds a more reluctant attitude from the cops, so she decides to take charge of the situation. Roy thinks she's focusing on this as a coping strategy. Evelyn tells him to fuck off. Meanwhile, Tyrone wakes up and panics when he can't feel his legs. And also...
So Fizz feels them for him.
And also, my pillows aren't plump. So he's rushed away for an emergency MRI while the nurse nips to Bed Bath & Beyond, or whatever the Mancunian equivalent is, Benson's Beds or something. The doctor comes in later to tell Tyrone and Fizz that he's got a blood clot on his spinal cord and he'll need surgery, but there's no guarantee it'll be successful and there might be permanent damage. Okay, cheerio then.
Yeah, you don't want to fuck around with the spine.
No, but the nurse, or the doctor, I think it's the doctor.
Yeah, it was a neurosurgeon.
The hint of a Scottish accent doctor has the weirdest bedside manner.
Most surgeons don't have very good bedside manner. We've experienced this firsthand.
I've experienced better in the UK, I have to say. On Wednesday, someone has decided that Dorin is too quiet, so they've given him a snare drum to batter the fuck out of, while Hope, Ruby and Evelyn worry about Tyrone and try to hear themselves think.
And also, Ruby gives Hope big, massive eyebrows.
I missed that. Did you see them?
Yes.
Why did you do that?
I don't know. I guess big, bushy eyebrows are now in style.
Finally! I don't understand what happens to male genes when your hair falls out and your hair on your head just thins, and then the hair on my eyebrows and up my nose
And in your ass.
decides to just sprout. The thickest, wiriest hair I've ever had in my life.
And they're still black.
Yeah,
It's like the only hair that you have that's still black.
well, nearly.
I've
Anyway.
already talked about hair in your ass. I didn't want to go further.
That's fine. That's fine. Roy comes over to teach Dorin chess later, but the wee man just wants his drum, and so does Dorin. Tyrone has recovered well from his surgery, but
Roy
is
was
waiting.
very cute with Dorin.
Yeah, this is a castle because of its
It's got
castellations.
castellations on the top. And this is a rook, which some people think is a bird. Because it is.
And then did Dorin ask for some pudding?
He asked for a biscuit.
A biscuit. It was
Can
so
I
polite.
have a biscuit, please? Yes, he says, please. And Evelyn says to the girls, oh, look at that. Look how polite your little brother is.
And he's Romanian.
Right. Speaks better English than the two of you.
Not a word of Romanian has come out of that wee boy's mouth.
That one word. Not
And
even an accent.
And it's April since he was dropped on Tyrone's doorstep by a Romanian stork who hasn't been seen since either. And there's been no mention of Alina Pop.
Yes. When I last Saturday, when it was New Tattoo Day, I posted on Blue Sky that it was New Tattoo Day. And I think it was Christopher Ansley who responded with a picture of Tyrone's tattoo.
Because that's what you got. A picture of Fizz to cover your Romanian flag tattoo.
No, it was the flag tattoo. It wasn't Fizz's face, which is horrific.
It is horrific.
I would never get somebody's face tattooed on my body, I don't think.
No. Tyrone has recovered well from his surgery, but is waiting for word from the doctor. She comes in and nonchalantly tells him that the surgery was a success, but in a strange definition of success, she tells him that he might never get the use of his legs again. Cassie calls the woman who performed surgery on Tyrone a quack who doesn't know what she's talking about, and advises Tyrone to keep a positive attitude. Fizz looks like she's about to fall to pieces and is concerned when Ruby talks about playing football at a daddy-daughter event in a few months. Privately though, Tyrone tells her that he has to keep positive
Yes.
and set himself some goals. On Friday, it's hectic at Tyrone's as kids get ready for school and Dorin gets ready to beat the fuck out of her drum again. Evelyn is chipper, but Fizz is still a picture of negativity and seems to take it as a personal slight when others are positive. When Evelyn goes to visit Tyrone, though, they're both honest about the situation. Evelyn says everyone will pull together while he's laid up. Later, Fizz comes in and grabs his leg, and Tyrone feels it. Excited, Fizz rushes off to find that gloomy fucking doctor. Predictably, the doctor doesn't want to get carried away as she stabs his leg with a needle. Later, Tyrone in his knee-length socks is getting some movement back in his legs,
Compression socks.
but reckons he'll be home in a week.
Woo!
He puts on a brave face, but when everyone leaves, the situation seems to be getting on top of him. He even spots this on her way out, and that's as far as we get with that.
Yes.
I must admit, I didn't see this going in that direction. This seemed to be one of those storylines where somebody gets run over, they have a bleed somewhere, they're put into a medically induced coma, they come out of it the next episode,
And then
the
they're
episode
fine.
after that, they're home.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I like that Tyrone is still in a bed. I'm happy about that. And I mean, the doctor's right. It was a success in that they got the blood clot out. But it
But the doctor must know what people hear when they hear the word success. They think, great, this is this is going to go back to normal then.
Right, yes.
And the doctor's like, well,
and
maybe not.
hopefully it will, but it will take time. The body takes time. You wouldn't know that if you'd seen an episode of Coronation Street in the past, but it's true. The body takes time.
How long was Dee Dee in hospital after her hysterectomy?
Like a day and a half.
Yeah, and then she was lifting heavy boxes the next day or whatever.
And a baby.
Exactly.
Ay, ay, ay.
I guess this highlights maybe one of the good things about Coronation Street and one of the historically lingering aspects of it that Tyrone says himself. He's surrounded by strong, strong women.
Yes. And Dorin.
What more does he need?
Right, exactly.
And that's right, he's got Fizz, and he's got Cassie, and he's got Evelyn in his corner.
Yes, and
All
also
helping
Hope and
out.
Ruby.
And just kind of cancels that out. But he's worried about how his family are going to survive if he's laid up and can't work. But he's still 50% owner of that garage.
Right.
Surely
Yeah,
he's
so
making
he
some
should
money just
Be
by
making
lying on his
money.
back.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not like that.
Absolutely. So I just wonder what this will mean for these particular women who are whole people in their own right and have their own hopes and dreams and activities and lives that will be, I'm assuming, affected by all of this.
Well, Evelyn's made it clear that she's going back to college. And Tyrone said that you've got to let Cassie help. Was it Tyrone that said that? Or was it Fizz that said that? Somebody said that to Evelyn and she was like,
Right.
She was going back to college anyway.
Right, yes. And I mean, and Evelyn is not wrong when she said, look, when I was Hope's age, I already had a job.
That was quite funny. Yeah, I missed that bit.
She needs to help out more around the house as well and not just lay around and have Ruby thicken her eyebrows.
If Fizz is desperate to get home to make dinner for everyone.
Yeah.
Because no one can put chicken nuggets in an oven for half an hour.
Right. Well, and in her defense,
Hope.
do we really want Hope near a stove?
Exactly. How long do you think they're going to have Tyrone laid up for, though? That's if they're going to go down this road, they can't have him coming to a full recovery and up and walking about in the next month.
No, of course not.
So this is probably leading into that Christmas thing where I saw him standing next to Fizz as they were getting interviewed by This Morning.
Right.
Or Good Morning Britain or whatever it was.
Yeah. Maybe he's in a wheelchair for a little while. Mm-hmm. We'll see. We have to do a lot of physical therapy. Be interesting to see if they show that.
Yeah, it was interesting when they showed Paul going through managing a deteriorating situation.
Right, exactly.
But it would be maybe better seeing that from Tyrone's point of view, where there is some progress able to be made. I don't know. I think it's a bold choice having this happen to him. We were all taken by surprise that it was him that was in the firing line for the hit and run. But yeah, this is maybe kick-starting an interesting storyline for the family. And, you know, if we're getting more of the Dobbs, we're getting more Dorin. And
Evelyn.
I ain't complaining about either of those things.
No.
All right, we'll move on then. Our next storyline is Sucks to be a Webster. In Nina's roles, Brody is standoffish with Kit for doubting his innocence about the hit and run thing and tells him that if you must know, he had a seizure and Dylan was the one who took him to hospital. Carl overhears this from the corner as he peeks through the holes that he's cut into the Weather Gazette. Meanwhile, Sean goes to the undertakers to shout at George for grassing Dylan up, but George stands firm and isn't about to take Brody's words about the seizure as gospel. Sean calms immediately and worries that Dylan won't be able to handle another stretch at the Stabby Teenager Centre. I don't know why. I don't know why Sean thinks that Dylan wouldn't cope with that. I think Dylan would cope too well with that.
Would Dylan still be in the Stabby Teenager Center?
I think so.
How old is he? Isn't he 18 now?
I don't think so. I think he's still a stabby teenager. I think Brody's still worried about going back to the STC.
Right, yes.
Meanwhile, Brody is confronted by Carl, and it seems Brody really didn't knock Tyrone down, which surprised me. Carl wants to know where the car is now, but it appears that it's not where Dylan and Brody left it, and they left the keys in it. So it must have been stolen by someone else. Their stolen car was stolen?
What?
Oh, the irony. Isn't that super unfortunate and unlikely? Carol says Ty is a mate, and if Brody's lying, he's a dead man. Sean and Dylan are being quizzed at the station by PC Jess, but the CCTV from the hospital comes back and Dylan is in the clear, but they don't find this out before Sean has asked Dylan if he really did it or not, which pisses Dylan off majorly. Back at the garage, Abby is pissed off with Carl because the breakdown that he went to yesterday is complaining that Carl didn't, in fact, fix the problem and just fucked off instead. Carl says he's waiting on parts. Brody and Dylan are reunited on the street, and Dylan takes this as another sign to back out from the car stealing thing, but Brody says that he needs this money for his sisters. Oh, for fuck's
No,
sake.
you don't.
Oh!
Go away. Your sisters are fine.
One of them was with Tim and Sally.
And one of
another
them
one
is
is
with
with
your
your
aunt. And he talks about going to the aunt's house and visiting her, visiting Jody, and, you know, them having a good time and everything. So it's not like he's not allowed to see her. They're both safe. They're both happy. They're both well taken care of. He needs to stop with this.
Carl spots them and drags them away to the alleyway of doom to shout at them, where they're spotted by Kit.
What?
When Carl goes back to work, Kit shows up to quiz him about where he was when Tyrone was run over. And maybe he can explain why he was having such a difficult conversation with Brody and Dylan. Carl says he was chastising them about dropping litter on the floor.
Shut up! Don't perpetuate that. You know how much that annoys me. It was the ground.
And Abby gives Carl an alibi about the breakdown from yesterday. So Kit just leaves. So Carl takes some car magazines in to see Tyrone,
Who
gives
can't
him-
lift his head to read anything.
who gives him the sob story about being unable to work and take care of his family. And it's a taking care of his family thing that triggers a flashback. And we see that it was Carl who knocked Tyrone down and then torched the car. Oh, okay then.
How does this make any sense? How does this make any sense? Why would he torch the car? Why wouldn't he just keep driving the car to Fiona and have done with it? Why torch it? I mean, I understand it was involved in a knockdown, but if you take it to Fiona and it gets sent to a chop shop and then back out again, nobody needs to know and nobody's going to find it. Whereas now they found that charred car. And as PC Jess says to Dylan, torching the car does not necessarily mean that we won't find your fingerprints.
I think PC Jess was saying that just to put the shitters up Dylan, though.
No,
don't-
I think she's right. I think that, you know,
There's nobody in that police station that's finding any fingerprints there, or otherwise they already would have.
I mean, all I'm saying is it is possible that they may have at least a partial print somewhere in that car, because it wouldn't have burned equally. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have burned evenly. The whole car wouldn't be incinerated in the same fashion. So if it started in the front of the car, towards the back of the car, they may be able to pull a partial print.
I don't think that's happening.
But still, it does not make sense that he has torched this car and not...
So the order of events, Dylan and Brody steal the car. At some point, Dylan decides to use the cradle for his phone, which is reprehensible. They fight over the phone. Brody has a seizure. Dylan is going to take Brody to the hospital, and at some point they dump the car and they tell Carl
Where the car is.
So Carl goes and picks that car up, drives round to the precinct, nearly knocks down Betsy, succeeds in knocking down Tyrone, then drives it off and burns it. This is what happened, apparently.
Yeah, this is what we're led to believe. Or what we've been asked to believe. What they're pleading with us to believe. And he doesn't fucking care. There doesn't seem to be any regret at all coming from Carl.
I thought there was a little flicker of remorse when he's torching the car, but I think if there is any remorse, it's that he's not going to get paid for this.
Right. Which, again, if he had just completed the job, he would have gotten paid for it, and then it would be somebody else's problem.
Do you know what's more interesting than Carl running down Tyrone and torching that car?
What?
Him shagging James. We don't get any of this.
No, there's
This is a bit of this storyline that's interesting.
there
We're,
is
we're not getting any of it
no
again.
James shagging this week, and I protest.
On Wednesday, in Nina's Rolls, Abby is sending supposedly erotic voice messages to Carl, sitting at a table in public
Right.
until Debbie comes in.
Pulling out her bra strap. I'm wearing a red bra under a big baggy sweater.
Debbie reveals that she has plans with Glenda to steal all the good singers away from the dementia choir and set up her own rival group. Conversation quickly turns to Tyrone, who has a big operation today in another storyline, and Debbie wonders if the hit and run has anything to do with this spate of car thefts in the area lately.
Yeah, all of a sudden everybody's talking about car theft.
Abby goes, In Dev's, Kit runs into Carl totally by accident, but not really, while Carl tries to hide a message from Fiona. Kit promises that he's keeping an eye on Carl, just waiting for him to slip up. Meanwhile, Betsy and Dylan are having a seat.
And you forgot the most interesting part of that scene. Summer's
Summer's
working in the
working there.
shop, and she tells them to let her know if they need any assistance.
Well, she reads some coursework, maybe? Or a chit-chat magazine?
Something. But isn't it weird to see her there?
I think it's great to see her there.
It's great, but it's weird, right? It's like, oh, where are they? Where there's this wee blonde girl behind the counter. Oh my God, it's Summer
Well, we called it, or
at the Allahans.
they called it when Summer was stealing the fillings out of Addie's mouth by saying, could you get me some more shifts at the shop if you're going to be buggering off? And lo and behold, that's exactly what's happened. My opinion of Summer has changed dramatically ever since she got out of her tits on acid. I think she's great fun. And she's had instances of being great fun leading up to that.
Yes.
So more Summer is a good thing for me.
Yes.
At the moment, anyway.
At the moment. Her hair is looking really good.
Meanwhile, Betsy and Dylan are having a serious chat in Nina's Rolls until Brodie shows up wanting to talk about stealing more cars. The two of them start to bicker until Roy intervenes and tells Brodie to fucking do one. Back at Kev's, Abby quizzes Carl about the car that ran over Tyrone, but Carl tells her it's nothing to do with him. But in unrelated news, I'm off to see Fiona at the Rape Hotel. Fiona, for obvious reasons, isn't impressed with Carl's work so far. Despite having nothing to back up his confidence, he says that he's still her man. And at that, Kit appears, and Fiona vanishes.
He's a white man. That's all he needs for confidence.
Kit wonders...
A bisexual white man.
No less.
No less. I love the bisexual representation on the show.
Kit wonders what Carl's talking to known criminal Fiona about. Carl says that he only bumped into her at the bar and she's really a friend of Ronnie's, and quickly finishes his drink and leaves.
Oh, well done throwing Ronnie under the bus.
I know, what a prick. In the Rovers, Debbie tells Abby that she's having problems recruiting choir members because apparently she comes across a bit overbearing.
What?
Carl comes in and privately tells Abby that things are too hot to nick more cars at the moment, and Abby is actually relieved by this. In another storyline, Swain tells Kit that she suspects Betsy was the target of a hit and run by a gang, and this seems to be enough to make him lose all his interest and suspicions in Carl, and he basically tells him this in the pub. I know, he just gives up far too easily.
Yeah.
He still wants to know about the Brodie and Dylan conversation, and Carl says that he was advising them to stay out of trouble. When Kit leaves, Carl thinks he's in the clear until Tracy, in that fucking cream winter coat, shows up and reminds him of the money that he owes her, and she wants it tomorrow. So on Friday, Tracy's still wearing that coat as she heads out to the garage and chats to Kev mysteriously asking about Tyrone, but she's really there to put pressure on Abby. Privately, Abby reveals that they only have £500 of the $10,000 that she's looking for and inquires about a payment plan. Tracy tells her to GTF. Either she gets her money or she tells Kev. And then Carl rolls up in his 20 grand car, hears from Abby about her running with Tracy, but he decides that it's £500 or nothing. He's going to take the hard line here. Meanwhile, there's a power cut at the florist, which will probably become plot convenient. So Tracy...
And only at the florist's. Nobody else on the street has lost power.
So Tracy sends Mary home. Carl comes in and gives her 500 quid. Take it or leave it. Tracy wants her full amount. It kind of seems content that this will do for now, but she says that she wants more and she'll tell him when she's paid, when...
She's satisfied.
Exactly. Back at the garage, Abby is at the point where she's ready to tell Kev anyway, but Carl is a hard no on that, wondering what Kev would do in retaliation, and he's sure the way forward is to call Tracy's bluff. Brodie's keen to get more jobs from Carl, but Carl's done with him and Dylan doesn't care and reckons that Carl is bad news. Later, but not much later, Carl's in the pub when Debbie comes in looking for his assistance in getting to Glossop to see a New Order-esque band called the Ambience and the Aura, with a view to having the singer in her choir. Then the dementia choir will know all about it, she says. Tracy's on her mobile to the electric company when she gets back to the florist to find the ICE are there, and they're trashing the place as they look for illegals in with the amaryllis. What the actual fuck, says Tracy in her stupid coat, and she smashes a vase over their head as they leave.
The ice?
Mm-hmm.
Not just ice, the ice.
No, the ice. After the visit to Glossop, Debbie and Carl are back in the pub. The trip has been a success, and the lead singer of the Ambience and the Aura is on board. That'll show the stupid, demented singers. Vengeance will be hers. But then Tracy bursts in, and she accuses Carl of being the one who wrecked the florist.
Right.
Despite the build of the person who wrecked the florist being
not
considerably slighter than
not Carl. Yeah, shorter and slighter. Yes.
Maybe, I don't know,
Brodie
or Dylan sized. So yeah, so Tracy blames him for trashing the florist. She's reported him to the police, but Carl has been with Debbie all afternoon, so Tracy can suck everyone's balls. Carl blames this on him knocking her back, which is pretty brave considering their situation. Tracy will make sure he pays in this world or the next. In the Ginnell, Carl pays off Dylan, who was the ICE officer in the florist. Carl offers him 20 quid for his trouble, but Dylan makes it clear that they're square now and wants nothing more to do with him. Carl's like, fair enough. Back home, Abby learns that Tracy has called a meeting with Kev about service in her van.
But not like that.
And she quickly tips off Carl via SMS text message. So as Tracy comes in to speak to Kev, she gets a conveniently timed video call from Carl, who's at number 1 with Ken, and wouldn't it be a shame if anything happened to the old prick? So Tracy changes her mind with Kev, rushes back to number 1, where Ken is chewing the fat with Carl about Bill. With a shit-eating grin, Carl bids them both farewell, and that's as far as we get with that this week. And I'm like, does Ken know who Carl is?
Well, yeah, because he knew his dad.
Right, but as Carl is there talking to Ken and showing him on the phone, it's like, this must be the weirdest afternoon for Ken.
Just have this guy just drop in.
Mm-hmm. I'm Bill Webster's son.
Yeah.
Oh, come on in.
He must have known. And nobody visits Ken anymore, so I'm sure he gets lonely. I mean, it's been ages since we've seen the man.
Yeah.
And I can't believe they dragged him into work just for this. This is the only scene he's in the whole week.
Right. Yeah, we keep on focusing on the boring bits of this story. The car stealing thing is boring. The Fiona stuff is boring.
Abby's
the
boring.
Abby stuff is boring.
The Tracy stuff is boring.
Oh. The Tracy stuff needs to get to the point in the Rovers fairly soon where she just throws them both under the bus. Because we drag this out and we miss the interesting bit. We miss the James bit. We miss the having a bit on the side from Abby, who's your bit on the side.
Right.
and try and keep her happy, but also completely in the dark about what else you're doing. And it's...
Right, and giving her a hard time for having sex with her own husband.
But I guess what we're doing here, though, is we're upping the
Stakes.
the involvement of Carl in so many dodgy things. So he's involved with the MOTs. He ran Tyrone over. He's stealing cars. He's getting boys to steal cars for him. And over and above all that, he's having a relationship with James behind Abby's back, and he's having a relationship with Abby behind Kev's back. And also now threatening Ken.
Yeah. Which, I mean, somebody had to do
So
it.
sure. But this feels like far too much for one person, and not all of it is interesting. And to think that Tracy would accept 500 quid instead of 10 grand. And to think if Carl just sells his car,
she did.
then this problem goes away.
Right.
Temporarily, at least.
She did say, I will take this, but you still owe me. And she does say to Abby, sell something.
Mm-hmm.
You can figure it out.
Yeah. Steal something or sell something.
Right.
Once again, though, the glimmer of light, and this sucks to be a Webster storyline, is Debbie, who, for reasons best known to herself, is determined to destroy the dementia choir.
Right, yes. Because it's like, why are you trying to poach members from that choir to start your own choir with maybe, I don't know, people who don't have dementia?
Was the insinuation that the singer from the Ambience and the Aura has dementia?
I don't think so. I think she's not going to be. I think that Debbie is enlisting her to be like the director, not necessarily a singer in the band.
What makes you think that?
Because why else would she agree if it was just to be a singer in the band? Especially she lives all the way out in Gloucester.
Glossop.
Glossop. Glossop?
Mm-hmm.
Really? There's a place called Glossop?
Really? You want us to go through dodgy town names?
I suppose.
Miss Connecticut?
I suppose in Connecticut we do have a town called Moosup,
There you go, that's what I was thinking of.
which rhymes with Glossop.
And also Central Village. That's a great name.
It's a great name.
Where is it?
It's the
It's in
village
the
in the
centre.
center.
Is it a town? No, it's just a wee village.
It's just a village in the center.
We'll move on to our final storyline this week. Theo No Sleeves.
Boo!
On Monday, Theo and Todd are packed and ready to move out of Eileen's. Theo has made Todd a present. It's an apron that says "The Boss," but then he shows off his own apron that says "The Real Boss." This is what passes for humour in this relationship.
Yeah, no.
Todd is worried about George, but Theo couldn't give a shit and says they'll cope. So they move in.
He's
and
got Mary.
Mary and her nylons.
Her
So they move
nylon
in.
nightgown, which just sounds uncomfortable.
And among the boxes, Theo fancies getting his hold, but they're interrupted by George fretting about the Dylan situation and another storyline. A need to chat, so Todd invites him in and to take a seat. Theo is fucking furious about this, but he allows it while there's pizza and beer there. But then he texts Todd to tell him to get rid of George, so Todd pretends to have a headache, and George eventually takes a hint. Todd's upset about this and tells Theo just to tell him how he's feeling rather than all this sneaking about shite.
Right, yeah. If you had been honest with George and said, "This has been a lovely visit, George, but we've got a lot to do."
And
George-
plus, it's our first night in our new place.
George would have taken the hint and left.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Theo says that he just wants Todd to himself. So Wednesday, the flat has been tidied up fairly well in the day as Todd and Theo talk about the upcoming hearing. Theo is confident, saying that he has no more skeletons in his closet. Well, speak for yourself, says Todd. And even though he was joking, Theo's mood changes, worried that this will affect his case. So he forces Todd to go through his back catalogue. So Todd tells him about his part in Phelan's flat scam, torching Aiden's van, robbing Mick, and then Theo's heard enough, now convinced that Noah and Danielle are going to dig up all this shite and he's going to lose his case.
Interestingly enough, he does not talk about the time where he tried to break up Billy and Paul with trying to what's the word? Not blackmail.
Extort?
No. Because that's not what he did to Paul. He was trying to make it look like Paul had been doing bad things. And he wasn't.
Framing Paul.
Yes. Interestingly enough, he forgets to mention that whole thing where he was framing Paul in order to get Paul and Billy to break up so he could get back together with Billy.
And that's the last thing he wants to tell Theo.
Yeah. It was diabolical, though.
I wondered if he was going in chronological order.
Yeah.
It was funny to hear these names and these storylines get dragged up, though, because
Yes.
Todd really was a wrong one.
Yes. But now he's not, and
He's a nice
we're
guy
happy.
now. Mhm. Todd offers to go back to live at Eileen's and says that they should just split up until the case is over, but this just makes Theo moodier. Later, he's calmed, has made dinner, and tells Todd to stay where he is. The past, he says, is the past.
Very nice.
So on Friday, Theo is very upset because there's boxes everywhere. What would the judge think about this in the court tomorrow? It would mean that he wouldn't get to see the kids that don't want to see him. Todd, not for the first time, doesn't look convinced about any of this. So Theo goes for a walk, which means that Billy arrives with a plant as a housewarming gift. Todd talks about his concerns about the case and the state of the flat, so Billy takes his jacket off and offers to help, and soon Brian and George are there too with their marigolds and squishy bottles. Todd goes to paint the spare room for Millie, but George takes over on that while Todd goes to get biscuits for the troops. Later, Todd is keen to get everyone to fuck before Theo comes back, but as he's hugging Billy, Theo comes back anyway and sees this happen and does not look happy. And then next we know it, Mary and Christina are there, and our proper housewarming party is underway. Theo is impressed with the painting job and the tidying. Todd suspects that Theo isn't as happy with us as he seems, and offers to chuck everyone out, but Theo thinks that would be rude. But Christina gets pished, and in an argument over the alphabetic etiquette of karaoke, George has to take her home.
And a flashy karaoke microphone.
But not before Theo tries to take the microphone off Christina, and Christina says, "I know your sort. I know men like you." And I thought, it's like,
Yeah.
Christina sees through Theo and sees what he is.
Interesting.
Because Theo was kind of taken aback by that a little bit.
Yeah.
But as Christina is thrown out, this leaves Mary to murder Aretha Franklin because Mary can't sing this week again. Theo starts to get annoyed again after all this. When everyone's gone, he makes that clear to Todd. He wanted to do the moving in with Todd together, and now everything is in the wrong place, and he has court tomorrow, all thanks to Todd and his fucking mates and precious Billy. Todd reminds him that he offered to throw everyone out, but this makes matters worse. And Theo goes off to bed, telling Todd to sleep in the beautifully painted spare room. And that is how we end this week's episodes. Another very threatening denouement to an episode where if Theo had a kebab, it would have been thrust into Todd's face, I think.
Right.
He also looked like he was about to stab Todd.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't try the whole shoving food in Todd's face with the pizza. The way he kind of just chucks that one last piece of pizza in the box and then shoves it at George quite rudely.
So the last time that this happened with the kebab in the face, Todd was hurt and scared and threatened in his own house and warned Theo, in fact, told Theo just to GTF.
Yeah.
And then, thanks to Billy, Todd gave Theo another chance, and here it is, it's happened again.
Yes.
Without the kebab, but still with a kind of threat of physical violence.
Right. And I'm going to tell you where you're going to sleep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because remember, he told Todd to sleep on the couch in Eileen's house.
Yeah.
While he slept upstairs in bed.
In Todd's bed. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What a fucking animal. But again, Theo's doing that thing where he comes across as being the life of the party and everybody's friend and laughing at Mary's jokes and all that sort of stuff. And then as soon as the door's closed and as soon as they're on their own, it's a very different story. I just feel sorry for Todd, but I just want him to be more Todd in this. And I know it's a difficult situation in real life. Domestic violence is never an easy thing to get out of. But I just really hate seeing Todd going through this. And
Absolutely.
it's very, very difficult to watch, as I think Cheeky mentioned in their correspondence. It's just... And I think I felt the same way about the Tim's dad and Yasmin stuff. It gets to the point where it becomes very difficult to watch because it's very anxiety inducing.
Yes. Yeah. I don't like it. You know, again, it's going back to the same well as the Yasmin and Tim's dad storyline. And while I can appreciate that it adds another layer to it because these are two men, it still feels like it still feels wrong, and it feels repetitive, and also it paints this picture of what gay men are like when they're repressed and closeted for so long. And while I appreciate gay villains, love Jinx Monsoon in Doctor Who, it feels just very a little too much here. You know?
Well, it fails in comparison with the Yasmin and Tim's dad storyline because that was drip fed a bit better in the start, where you're not exactly sure if Tim's dad is the villain, that until you become very aware that he's a villain. But the show did a really good job of we became the outsiders, and we're not sure if these little jokes that Tim's dad's making are barbs or not, which is how Yasmin's friends felt. They thought Tim's dad was a lovely man because they didn't see the side of him that Yasmin saw. So until we saw the side that Yasmin saw, it was a very under the radar, insidious type of abuse.
Yeah.
This is far more in your face.
Yeah. For us it is. You know, for the other characters in the show, and I think this is very interesting that we know, but the other characters in the show don't see this.
Right. I wonder how much it would help if Todd just stopped hugging Billy.
Yeah, that last hug
went on a little
seemed
too
to go
long.
on a little long. Yeah.
You've hugged him already.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that...
You're not victim blaming here.
No, not at all. So I should stop talking.
Yes.
So I'm going to stop talking about that.
Thank you.
We really should stop hugging Billy who watches that.
Nobody should hug Billy.
No.
No.
Mary and Christina were quite funny together.
Yeah.
Christina pished is a different thing.
Yeah. And I don't know. It felt weird to have these two adult women fighting over a microphone that one of them brought to this party, let's not forget, in front of these four men that are just...
Oh, Billy just didn't want to get involved.
Don't want to get involved until they absolutely want to get involved and start yanking things out of women's hands. And then Mary murders poor Aretha Franklin, who is already dead.
Mary can sing. We've got proof of this, haven't we?
Yes, I know. I don't know why they keep doing this to her.
Because it's funny.
Is it?
No.
Thank you.
I guess the court case is next week.
Yeah,
These kids don't want to see Theo. So I'm hoping they don't get to. But if he doesn't, then this is going to be bad news for Todd. And he's just moved in with a guy. Thankfully, they're just renting. But
yeah, I found it very interesting that they're renting And yet, the very first thing they do is repaint a bedroom.
And they clear that with Dev.
For a girl who may or may not be staying there
There's
in the
no
future.
interest in being there.
And has no participation in picking the colors out. If you're going to do that with a teenage girl, you have to say, hey, why don't we repaint this room for you? Let's go to the hardware store together and pick out colors.
This can be your room, Millie.
Yes, let's make it your room. You can pick out the color of the walls. That's what should happen. Not, hey, I'm going to pick out a really boring color and repaint this room a really boring color, even though it's already a really boring cover.
Well, Millie's,
Yeah, I know.
All right, that was the week that was Coronation Street. Helen, tell me, what was your moment of the week?
It can't possibly be Dorin playing the
It
drums.
is. It's exactly that.
Yeah. It's Dorin
Come on.
playing the drums.
What made you smile more than Dorin beating the fuck out that drum and then laughing maniacally about it?
It's so funny.
And I don't think we've given Dorin moment of the week. We came
In a
close.
while.
I don't think we have. I think we came close to doing it and then didn't. And I think we were right to wait because this was unquestionably
Moment of the week.
Around moment of the week.
to a 3-year-old.
Yes.
Well done, show.
Good job.
And we
We love that kid, though.
do love that kid. I do appreciate quite a bit of the acting that happened
Around
week.
him.
And particularly in the Becky storyline. I think the acting in that has been top notch. I thought Sydney Martin in particular was really good. But it's Dorin. It's Dorin, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What about your boring moment of the week?
It's so tough because both Chesney and Ken are in the show this week. No Daniel.
Chesney was listening into somebody's conversation.
Somebody else's conversation. In fairness, though, it's about his brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
So he has insight that they may not. Is it Ken talking about Bill Webster?
No,
That
I don't
doesn't go
think
on
so.
for very long.
No.
And it was actually interesting that the show remembered that Bill Webster exists. It's Abby attempting to leave a sexy voicemail
Yeah, that
in
was
Nina's
wrong.
roles.
What's she doing?
Lifting out her bra strap to check the color of the bra she put on that morning. How do you not know what color your bra is, Abby?
I couldn't tell you what colour my underpants are.
Black, probably. Most of them are black, except for the ones that I bought you.
I think very few of my underpants are black.
I'm the one who folds your underwear. They're mostly black.
I'm the one that wears it. And I think I've got red underwear, I've got blue underwear, I've got tartan underwear. I've got underwear with Christmas trees on it.
Yes, but mostly you just wear the black ones.
They're blue.
See, I couldn't tell you what color my underwear is, but I do know what color my bra is. It is also blue.
Oh, matchy matchy.
Yes.
Did I hit boring moment of the week?
That is our...
Boring moment of the week.
I don't think we've ever given Abby boring... No, we did.
Yeah, we have.
Yes, because boring moment of the week the other week was Carl and Abby having sex again.
Yay!
So it's our Yay Minutes section. This is, as I fall further and further out of love with Twitter, I remain asking people what they thought of Corrie on that platform, and the results came in like this. 24.3%, meh 28.6%, and yay 47.1%. So another positive vote, but maybe not as much as it has been in the last couple of weeks. Lauren writes, Dorin cackling whilst banging those drums made me grin from ear to ear. What a little belter they've got in him. Dorin Shanice playdate when? Also, how long until we hear that Alina tragically died in an accident of some sort? Well, exactly.
In a boating accident.
And Jen says, Dorin was the best part of this week. What a cutie pie.
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much for that. We don't let those opinions or those scores influence our scores, obviously, Helen. We would be foolish to do that. What is your score out of 10 this week?
It's just an okay week. Wasn't terrible.
No.
But it wasn't great either, except of course for Dorin. So I'd say an easy 5.
I have been 7.5 for the past 3 weeks, but it's a 6 for me. I don't think it was as good as it's been. And I thought it promised a little bit more, especially with the Costello stuff. That was a bit of a disappointment. And it feels a bit repetitive, this whole stuff, already. So yeah, a 6 for me. Still, that's not a bad score.
No.
All right, let's wrap this one up then. This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast. Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Jackie B, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Stephen, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephine O'Tingy, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Ali Q, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge, Pamela, Marsh JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corey Dales, Matthew McKenney, Aussie Ali,
Oi, oi, oi!
Welsh Emma, Matthew S, and Rachel B. Thank you ever so much, folks. We very much appreciate your support.
Yes, thank you.
If you've ever allowed a formerly dead ex to just fucking wander into your house whenever they feel like it, write in to tell us about it. We're the Talk of the Street at gmail.com, and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Or reach us the old-fashioned way, the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in September's classics, we're talking about episode 638. Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast at ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/the Talk of the Street, patreon.com/the Talk of the Street, or youtube.com/the Talk of the Street podcast. Check our voggle.co.uk for links to our merch store, YouTube channel and blog, and if you're so inclined, please leave a rating and a review on the iTunes or your podcast provider of choice, and be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
How on earth did the Captain and Tennille win Record of the Year?
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
Talk of the Street.
The Talk of the Street.
Bye.
Cheerio.